Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're watching us from today. And we would like to introduce you to something called Hello Okay. So, guys, this is Joel Petter from Overland Kings. And this is the segment that we wanted to introduce on YouTube so that if you have frequently asked questions, we could further explain it without the rush and give you all the info and details you might need to get your adventure started. So, with this first episode, let's go check it out. Episode 1. Since we don't have a guest yet, if you would like to guest on this segment of our YouTube channel called Hello OK, do message us and DM us, and we are looking for guests, experts, if I may call it, to share light on different topics that are covered by overlanding. You know, nowadays, overlanding has become a buzzword, and that we feel like there should be real information from overlanders who've actually been doing it for a while so that you don't get confused when you're starting to outfit your vehicle. So with that, the first episode we want to talk about for today is the basics of most basics. It's called crossbars. What are crossbars? Before you get into crossbars, you gotta ask the first question, which is, what is the vehicle you are using? That's an easier question because you might be using a crossover, a sedan, a SUV, a pickup, a full-size, small, medium, or large, right? But basically, what you want to understand is what type of roof do you have on your vehicle? Because basically, any type of vehicle will be able to be mounted with a crossbar, depending on the type of roof. So, moving on with that, there are 3 things you might want to look at. Number 1 is called a flush rail roof. So if you check your roof on your car, you can check if it's a flush rail, meaning there's no space on top of it. Therefore, you would need a different mounting system to be able to put a flush rail roof bar on your roof. Next would be a gutter type roof, which is the more old school type, like the old Mitsubishi Pajeros, the Fieldmaster, the Nissan Patrol GQs, or the old Defender 110s, or the Jimny actually, or the Land Cruiser 70. These are all gutter type roof racks, gutter type roof. So there's a different mounting for a gutter roof type of gutter roof rail. Next is called the raised rail. You would be able to see this in the older Fortuners. You'll usually see a gap. Basically, we would use a strap-on type of material to be able to put the type of bars on top of these roofs. So with that settled in, let's go to the part of what a roof crossbar looks like. There are different brands in the market, but basically, there are types of materials that you might want to check in these types of load bars. So first off, this is a Mammoth crossbar. All right, this is a Mammoth crossbar. We have different brands that are available. We have Frontrunner, you have ARB, and there are a lot of other brands out there. But the first thing you want to look at for these types of crossbars are the type of materials. Okay, number 1 is what type of material is the crossbar made of? Generally, they will be made of 2 types. One is aluminum, one is steel. Now, which one is better? Steel is generally lower in price, and aluminum generally tend to be more expensive in price. Now, there's not exactly good or better, but basically make sure whatever bars you're putting on your vehicle has a loading capacity. A loading capacity is the amount of weight of what we could put on top of the load bar so that the bars don't break, or the roof doesn't break, or the stuff you put on your roof doesn't fall off the vehicle with that load rating. All right. So with that in mind, we tend to usually prefer aluminum bars because number 1, it doesn't rust, and we could easily, most manufacturers who are qualified or reputable has a load rating for the bars. As for the Mammoth load bars, the one that I have on my hand, the load capacity is 75 kilograms. And usually the heavier duty ones like the Frontrunner bars are loaded up to 105 kilograms per bar. Let me explain that further. If a bar comes with 2, then you're able to load 150 kilograms of weight on the bars. But that's not the only thing you have to consider. The next question you gotta ask before putting the bars on is, what is the load capacity of the roof of the vehicle? So each manufacturer have their own load capacity on the roof. And what we have to find out is usually what is the declared roof capacity. Because usually the bars have a higher capacity than the roof capacity. Now with that in mind, once you figure that out, you can check if it's a dynamic load rating or a static load rating. Dynamic load rating is what the load rating of the roof when the vehicle is moving, and the static is when it stands still, meaning when the car is not moving. Why is that different? Because when the car is moving, the load tends to shift more on the roof, making it, less stable, I guess. And a static load, when the car is not moving, is a more stable load on top, obviously when the car is not moving. So generally, static loads are higher than dynamic loads. Most, if I'm not mistaken, are declaring the dynamic load. It's a more conservative load to declare so that we could prioritize the safety of the vehicle, even with the bars loaded on the top of the vehicle. All right, so that covers the first part of loading capacity. Next, getting tired of this. Okay, the next thing you got to consider when putting a load bar is, of course, what are the upgrades you want to do to the vehicle? Because aside from the load bar, usually 90% of our clients want to put a load bar because they want to put an awning, or they want to put a roof tent or a roof box or a bike carrier, any of those, which is totally fine. But it'd be good to understand what you want to put on top so that we could recommend the right load bar for your vehicle for what you're putting on. Also note that some load bars allow you to upgrade to a roof rack, meaning you could put a bar roof if you're running, let's just use a truck, a pickup truck, any pickup truck. If you have a load bar on the roof, on the cab, you could generally put a roof top, flat rack on top of it. That will allow you to put more boxes or other gear or an LED bar in the front, if you so choose to upgrade in the future. Now, if you need all that stuff and you just want an aesthetically pleasing rack, definitely just go with the bar and rack, and that's totally fine. Also, when deciding which type of load bar or roof rack you want to put on your vehicle, also consider the height of your vehicle. Because if you're loading something you live in a condominium or you frequently travel to a mall that has a low clearance, then I would highly suggest go with a low profile roof rack or low profile load bar so that you won't sacrifice the total height of the vehicle if you do frequent these types of places you go to. Last but not the least, if you are installing these products, make sure you come to a reputable shop to install, because buying the product is half the game. The other half of the game is how it's installed, if it's properly installed on the vehicle. Needless to say, let me recommend one of the probably best fitting shops in the Philippines, Overland Kings. No bias. But basically, just make sure you are having your roof rack and crossbars installed properly. We're not saying we're perfect, but it's just we've done a lot of roof bars and crossbars, and we've had the privilege of testing a lot on our own vehicles so that you give us a little bit more chance of getting it right when installed in our crossbars. Of course, it's not always perfect. There will be some maintenance parts on these products, okay? So just keep that in mind. Last but not the least, let's talk about maintenance tips. After a long trail, after you have something on top, you go on a long drive to Baguio, you go to Pinatubo, you do a Tanay trail. When you come back, make sure you have a check inside these. It comes with a key, because there would be a screw. If you're running a clip-on type, this is for a flush trail. If you're running any types of these, always check the tightening here, because when we release a vehicle, of course it's tightened, but sometimes vibration, even if you watch the most crazy overlanders, their vibration really does take a toll on any vehicle equipment or gear that you put up there, meaning it will get loose, or it can get loose. Now, but if you're not really doing a lot of crazy trails or stuff like that, then maybe we've had clients who never had to retighten the bars. That's not a spite, that's more how you use your product, right? If you're going through a lot, then probably tighten it once in a while to have a check to make sure the things on your roof does not fall off. If you want us to check that for you, of course, that's part of the service that we do here at Overland Kings. After a trail, just come over, have a look. Joel, hey, I need this check. Let's do it. That's part of the service of being part of the family of Overland Kings. Now, yeah, so that sums it up. If you're running a crossbar that's drilled on to your roof, which is like the front runners and some ARB brands do that, just make sure that the silicone you're using or the silicone the shop is using is what do you call it, is the grade where it won't deteriorate. We're also using that so that, you know, to make sure that your install is proper. If you don't use a proper silicone, they will tend to leak after a while. But the good thing about it, it is serviceable. So so if you have something that's installed and you're not sure about it, do drop by Overland Kings. We have a look at it and see if there needs some repairs or some stuff that might be needed for your installs. With that in mind, let me close this first episode of Crossbars to get you started with your adventure. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you like it, do like and subscribe on here. And send us some information on who you want us to guest on this show called Hello Okay. This is Joel Pedro from Overland Kings. We'll see you on the next episode. See you later.